Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Me, 21 male, and my dad, 46 male, have always had a good relationship. He has always been my best friend, growing me up and raising me well. But recently, things have started to go downhill. Dad started to date this woman, 40 female, and soon married too fast for my liking. I moved out for college as soon as she moved in, so we never got to know each other that well. During the holidays, I would visit my dad and spend the holidays like Easter with him. I found out that my now stepmom is very controlling over him. He rarely says no to her and ends up doing very simple tasks that she is too lazy to do. My stepmom always bought a lot of useless things that she didn't need, but said she did. For example, a lot of unnecessary jewelry which my dad surprisingly agreed to buy for her. This changed the way he treated me a lot, expecting me to also comply with all of her needs as well. Throughout my stay at my dad's place, she has brought up my car many times. It's the first car I ever got. It's under my dad's name, but I ended up paying for most of it while I was in high school working. During dinner, she would bring it up asking me, "Why does someone so young even need a car? It's not like you worked for it. You can just walk or take public transport." I had to keep explaining to her that I worked for it, but she never believed me. During Thanksgiving, I went to my dad's to spend the holidays with them. The holiday was nice and what I needed. My dad was acting strange throughout the day, asking about how my car was doing. He knows I take care of it well, so I found it strange. The day before I was planning to leave, my dad asked me if he could get it checked up and make sure that the car was doing well. I didn't mind at the time as I trusted him. I needed my car to get to and from work, but he promised it would only take a couple of days, so I agreed. When I was leaving, my stepmom said, "At least you will learn how to use public transport." She said it in a spiteful tone, but I ignored her and went back to my dorms as I had work I had to get to. I called my dad after a couple of days but got no answer. He didn't respond to my texts nor my messages. After a week, he finally answered my call and told me that he sold the car because they needed the money. I was furious that he lied to me and we argued. He told me that it wasn't under my name anyways, so it wasn't rightfully my car, even though I worked for it. He told me to be more grateful that I even had a car in the first place. After that confrontation, I didn't go to see my dad in a couple of months before he called and apologized for lying to me. I didn't want to stay mad, so I started visiting them again. My stepmom's mood seemed to be better now that my car was gone. She gave me less snarky remarks regarding the car. Me and dad talked less during this holiday, making dinner more awkward than usual. However, this time she kept mentioning a loan she wanted to take out to buy a new car, telling me and my dad about the car she had in mind and the amount of money she wanted to take out. She even asked me if I could co-sign it and use my money to pay it off. I thought she was joking, so I laughed and quickly changed the subject. The next day, the same day I was leaving, she brought it up again and told me she was serious. I told her I won't do that as I was saving up for a car to buy. She was enraged and said, "You don't need a new car. I need a new car. It's useless to you. That's why we sold it." I looked at my dad when she said that to confirm if what she said was true, and he looked me directly in the eyes with no remorse for lying, so I turned around and left. I didn't plan on contacting my dad anymore after that. Days later, while I was working, my dad came to my workplace to visit me, handing me papers to co-sign the loan that my stepmom wanted. I told him I won't do it. He started to get mad and aggressive, calling me ungrateful and useless towards the family. I called security, getting him escorted out of the building. Shortly after, my stepmom called me. She began yelling, asking me how I could reject the loan, and that my dad is too old to work for the money for the car. She repeated the same things my dad said, and tried to guilt-trip me to get the loan for her. I ended the call and have blocked both of them on my phone. Am I the a-hole for not agreeing to co-sign the loan for my stepmom? Update. Thanks everyone for the support. I got a lot of help on what to do with the situation, and a lot of people wanted to know what happened next. So here's what happened after the confrontation. My dad tried to reconnect, saying that he's sorry for what he has done. I didn't buy his apology at first, but he kept trying for months and decided to give him another chance and talk it over. He told me that he wasn't thinking straight throughout the whole time and he has filed for divorce with my stepmom. If that is even remotely true, I have zero doubt that he's not gonna go through with it in the end. He told me it was hard for him to do because he wanted to reconnect with me. Because of their conflict, my stepmom was kicked out of the house and is basically homeless, hotel hopping. Do I believe it? Not for a millisecond. But I don't particularly care, so all is good. OP, it's sad that your relationship with your dad has turned into what it is now. It's even more sad to see him being controlled by your stepmom. But I do believe he has the power to not be a bad parent to you, but he has forfeited that too. The fact that he sold the car that you worked to pay off just because your stepmom thinks you have no use for it is mind-boggling to me. And to top it all off, they want you to co-sign and then work to pay off the car she wants to buy? That's crazy. I also don't believe that he's divorcing your stepmom. I think this is just another plan of theirs to make you sign the papers. Continue standing on your ground and don't give in. If your stepmom wants a car that badly, she can work for it or your dad can. Story 2. When I was around 6 female, my mom married my stepdad. My parents were never married when they had me and have always been on good terms. My stepdad has 2 kids of his own who were 9 female and 7 male at the time. My custody was pretty straightforward and I would spend 1 month at my dad's and 1 month at my mom's while they were every 3 weeks at each house. So for 3 weeks every other month, I lived with them and then every other time I wouldn't. Things at first were not good. My stepbrother was a very rough kid and I hated playing with him because he would break everything and was just mean and aggressive. My stepsister wasn't like that, but she was just a flat-out bitch. She didn't want a kid around and wanted nothing to do with me. So yeah, at first things didn't blend well and it didn't change as we all went into middle and high school. If anything, it got worse. I won't lie, I was no saint either in that time, but it just wasn't good. I remember my stepsister constantly talking down everything I wore when she was over. We did go to the same high school and made me pretty insecure. Cause while I wasn't fat, I wasn't skinny either. I ended up spending a lot of my high school life in hoodies and leggings or jeans. My stepbrother was a bit better, but I don't really remember interacting with him much cause he went crazy with drugs and sports. I forgot what the fight was about, but when I was 17, and my stepsister was 20, she said something like, "You aren't my sister, and I can't wait till my dad divorces your mom so I never have to see your fat ass again." While we were never close, we would call each other sisters for our parents' sake and never said it out loud that we don't see the other as family. It didn't really hurt me more than the fact that she finally got it out and we could stop pretending. I went to stay with my dad for the next 5 or 6 days till she left for college. I am 20 now and did something really stupid, and I now have a 1-year-old son with my boyfriend, and we are making it work in a small 1-bedroom apartment. Me and my stepsister never really made up, and while I saw her on holidays, that was about it. And I don't think we would really talk much, if at all. My stepbrother is still heavy into weed and partying, and I'm indifferent to him. Well, about 2 days ago, I was visiting my mom with my son and my stepsister came over. It was a complete surprise and went to see my baby while she didn't even look or say hi to me or anything. She picked him up and said, "Auntie," her name. I didn't stop it, but I left abruptly after she came and then texted her to never call herself an aunt to my son because she is not his aunt, because she will never be his family or my family. We had a bit of back and forth, but we both stopped texting after a bit. When I told my boyfriend, he said I'm being petty and I should apologize. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, OP, though I agree with both sides of the arguments I'm seeing. She separated herself from you, not the other way around. So it needs to be on her if she wants to try to mend things. You can open the door for her if you want to give her that chance, but you don't need to apologize. If your parents are still married and you just want to get to a point where you're comfortable but not thrilled around her at family gatherings, Tell her that you might be willing to let her spend some time with you and the baby if she can change her behavior enough to start acting like family.